was your rank then?
Private.
Okay, so you're private.
Private.
4th Marine Division.
4th Marine Division,
Okay.
3rd Battalion,
Okay.
25th Regiment,
Okay.
Company I,
Okay.
with the mortar platoon.
Okay.
Well, I was aboard a transport ship. If I remember correctly, I think it was LST.
Okay.
And we were aboard the LST. And I thought, well, within a week we'll be off and back. Maybe before the week is over. Maybe before sundown. Who knows? But I certainly didn't think it'd be very long. So we climbed down a rope net into a Higgins boat, and we bobbed around that in the ocean in the Higgins boats until we all had concentrated the waves that we needed to make the landing. And then we all headed at once for the beach. They were falling like rain falling all around different boats, and some boats were getting hit directly right in the middle of the boat. And I was glad to get out of the boat, but then after I got out of the boat, I wish I was back in the boat. That's just how bad it was. I had the rifle barrel and the base plate of the 60mm mortar strapped to my backpack, and I had my M1 rifle. I had all that with me when we hit the beach. I had quite a load. I had all I could take care of to kind of compete with the volcanic sand that made it a whole lot harder to move and to advance through the air. I was supposed to be in the second wave. The first wave had landed, but they hadn't budged a foot because of the heavy rifle and machine gun fire. They were still pinned down, and we were piled in on top of them, so to speak. And I had just landed, and the guy right next to me, he reached up and rubbed his Adam's apple, and blood was coming out of both sides, a hole on this side, and a hole on this side. He said, "I've been hit, haven't I?" I said, "Yes, but maybe not bad." And the shells were falling. I said, "I got to get out of here." I jumped up and run up the bank as quick as I could, left him laying there, and I don't know whatever happened to him. I don't know whether he died immediately after that or what happened. But that was my first, seeing my first casualty. I hadn't much more than hit the ground that I saw my first casualty. So it was rough. The shells were coming into the beach so thick and heavy. My immediate concern was, if I don't move, I'll be killed. And I've got to move in order to try to survive. And I headed for the middle of the island if I could get there, all in one piece, so to speak. I don't think I stopped running until I got almost up to the airfield that was halfway in the middle of the island, crosswise. And then I could look back and see the troops on the beach. I could see the heavy shelling through the dense smoke from the shells exploding. A lot of commotion was going on, and we looked in that direction, and we saw the flag go up. We saw the flag go up, and that was a good feeling. I said, good. Now this is only about the third day or something like that we were in combat. I said, now they can come up here and help us to get the rest of the island. That was my thought. And so then I could hear the ship's horns blasting. And then here come all the bombardment all over again. But anyway, I did see the flag go up, and I saw it flying up there. But most of the guys that put that flag up, they got killed before it was over with. And it was something else. He was gone. One minute he's there, all there, totally there. And next minute, within the snap of your finger, he's totally gone. Totally gone, just like that. The whole man is gone, vanished. Just a little piece of a boot that's all that's left.
I mean,
Well, that made me cry.
You ever think about Roger?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, quite often.
How do you get through a time like that? You're 19 years old. You have faith in God. Is it your training? How did you get through those times?
Well, it's hard to say. You know, you can either accept it or you can let it run you crazy. So I thought the best way out is to take one day at a time and just do the best you can. Just do the best you can. And keep going and keep fighting until it's all over with. It was striking to me as to why, of course I know there's a lot of people who have been killed and wounded, and body parts all over the place, blood all over the place. You couldn't walk without stepping in blood. I don't care how you tried to walk without stepping in blood. You stepped in blood. You couldn't avoid it. And it got to be routine because you got tired of trying to dodge blood, and you went on and walked anyway. But it was a bloody place, a real bloody place. And I took my combat knife out to open up my C rations, and I looked around for a place to sit down to eat it. And this looked like to me it was an officer, a Japanese officer, and it looked like his uniform was spotless. And I said, I believe. And it looked like his belly was blowed up quite big. And I said, that looks like a comfortable place to sit. I'll sit on that dead officer and eat my C ration. But anyway, the size of the island, the number of troops that were on that island. We had roughly 75,000 Marines, and there was roughly 24,000 Japanese. So we were looking at close to 100,000 men, 100,000. When you consider there's over 22,000 men below ground and above ground that died, plus another 7,000 on top of the ground of Marines. Then you're looking at over 30,000 dead people, 30,000. And then you add another 17,000 Marines wounded on top of that, on such a small piece of real estate. Then you can see that was the most savage battle that has ever been fought. That includes Shiloh, Gettysburg, in place in the Civil War. That includes the battles in Normandy, in Europe, for the size, and the number of men involved. So that's why it's called the meat grinder.
Were you wounded on Iwo Jima?
Yes, I was.
Did you get a Purple Heart?
Yes, I did. I got a Purple Heart.
What day were you wounded? You remember?
Yes, the 28th of February, my wife's birthday.
What does Iwo Jima mean to you today, 60 years later? Do you think about it?
I try not to think about it. I think it's to my best advantage that I don't think too much on it and try to not dwell on it, because it's history, but it's a painful history, and it's a history that will always be with me. But I felt like that I have had all I need, and I try to not let it worry me.
You know, in light of what you went through, Fred, and being a World War II veteran and living in this country, what does freedom mean to you?
Well, we got aboard ship, and then we took a shower and washed up and got ready for dinner or supper, which it was, and we did, and that was the best meal I think I ever ate in my life, or ever had set in front of me to eat. And then over the intercom, loud and clear. I mean, it was loud and clear. God bless America. That's when I broke down and I cried. I will always remember that. I cried and I cried hard because I couldn't keep from it. That affected me. I thought, well, this is what I fought for. You just asked me what did it mean to me. I showed it right then and there in front of everybody.
What do you think about this project?
I think if you don't do it, who in the world is going to do it? You know, it needs to be done. It needs to be done. And once you've done it, then by George, we've got it for eternity.
Do you have any thoughts about what you would say to a young person today, maybe watching this, maybe a student in schools? Do you have a personal thing you might want to say to the students of today or the kids?
Yes, I would think so. I would say this: let your conscience be your guide. Let your conscience be your guide. If you feel like you're doing the right thing for volunteering and going into service, regardless of what branch it is, then I think you need to be encouraged to do that. It's a good moral lesson. It's a good educational lesson, and it's a good environment lesson and physical, just plain good. That's what I tell them. If you have any inclination that you really would like to be a member of the armed forces, then I think you need to consider it.
That's good. You remember at the end of my film, I had everybody salute. Do you remember seeing that?
Yes.
Can I have you do a salute for me? I'm going to have you do it right into the camera, though. Just give me a second here.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to want you to look. Look right in the camera. Go ahead, Fred. Give me a salute. All right. Thank you, sir.